Play your hand, play your hand. No fuck counting the stacks, stacking the bags. No fuck counting the stacks, stacking the rags. No fuck counting the stacks, stacking the rags. No fuck counting the stacks, stacking the rags. No fuck. Play your hand, play your hand. Play your hand, play your hand. Play your hand, play your hand. Play your hand, play your hand.
Good evening and welcome to Champions Poker live from Champions Club in Houston, Texas. We are coming to you live with the final table of our $150,000 guaranteed event for this weekend. This was a multi-bag, multi-flight event. From a field of 629 players, we are down to the final 9. All of these players will be battling it out for $35,850 for first place. A look at the players and the chip stacks as we come into the table. Shortest stack right now in the 1 seat, Walken, with just over $1 million in chips. The big stack is Tran in the 5 seat with over $3 million. You can see 9th place, guaranteed $3,530, but everybody here is gunning for first, $35,850. This is Dan Fouts coming to you live from Champions Club in Houston. Soon I'll be joined by the one and only Andrew Voden
Maybe the same cars
for some expert analysis. Blinds are currently 50 and 100,000. Average stack right now just over 2 million, or about 20 big blinds. Action folds around to the hijack, and Peter will open to 500,000 with King Jack off suit. 5x raise in late position. Button started with our big stack. Action will fold around, and Peter will pick up a set of blinds and antes. Peter's no stranger to our final tables. We have seen him on a number of our tournament final table streams. Joining me in the booth now is Andrew. How's it going, Andrew?
What's up, everyone? Super excited to commentate this final table. Haven't done commentary for a tournament yet, but love doing spots in tournaments. It plays very differently from your regular cash game. The spots are different. You're playing relatively short. Here we can see, you know, everyone under 30 big blinds as the biggest stack, and then everyone else hovering at least 10 big blinds. So always tricky spots to navigate in tournaments.
And Timmy starting the final table with around 14 bigs, wakes up with a pair of 8s in early position. Min clicking to 200,000.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to navigate because if you get 3-bet with these hands, it's always hard to think you're ever ahead, but you just have to take it sometimes with these 14 bigs. But luckily so far, getting through to the blinds.
As you said, tournament play much different than cash game play. If you're usually watching our stream as a cash stream.
Yeah, here we go. This is exactly what I was talking about. It's just tough because now
raise,
and he's going to 3-bet. Timmy's most likely going to have to get it in. 14 bigs with pocket 8s. It's hard to have a pair and hold them, and a lot of time you're up against something like ace jack, ace queen, ace king. So yeah, 3-bet jam. It's going to be a snap call, and might have the first fatality of the evening here on this final table.
Yeah, Timmy behind here and with the shorter stack, so he will be at risk. Andy looking in good shape to almost double up. He's got half a big blind behind. And so far, Queen's still in the lead after a king high flop.
No backdoor suits either, so looking for an 8 and an 8 only.
Oh, a set of queens.
Dead. So, yeah, unfortunate, but a score is a score. I think these players guaranteed something like 4,000, right, Dan?
Yeah, 9th place is 35-30. So,
yeah, so
a great run there for Timmy, outlasting over 600 players, making it to the final table. And like you said, tough to find a pair. Really tough to navigate that with only 14 big blinds in your stack, and Timmy will be going home with just over $3,500 now, leaving us with 8 players, which will increase the average stack to about 2.3 million or 23 big blinds. One thing I do love about the Champions Club structures is they are such great structures. It's not typically an all-in or fold situation. Once you get to the final table, most of the players are going to have 20 to 30 big
I
blinds.
thought we were going to be friends.
Bro, we are friends.
Yeah, definitely just a bit tougher as this one's been going on since 2 p.m. today, so these guys have been battling it out for a long time. The blinds are obviously a lot heavier than some of the deeper structures, but it's hard to find a better structure than Champions other than at something like the series. 10 big blinds or more, still plenty to navigate, especially when everyone else has around the same stacks.
1 folds, 3 folds.
Joaquin giving it some thought there with the suited connector, but he's going to wait. He did come into this final table as the shortest stack with about 10 bigs. He will be in the big blind next hand, but hard to make a move there with 10 high, even if it looks pretty.
Yeah. You got a 1200 pay jump though, so your chips have a lot more value at this point in terms of ICM. Everyone's sitting around the same stack, so sometimes relatively tight folds are going to get you a lot more cash value just because you're trying to ladder at this point, especially with everyone sitting so equal in stacks.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Action does fold around to the dealer button. Ike will raise it up here. Ace-5 suited makes it 375,000.
And raises like this are so strong because you're basically committing a lot of your stack, and at the same time everyone else has to commit a decent amount of big blinds to call off or defend. This spot's obviously very close, but you can't fold king queen in the big blind here. And this is where it gets tough because now you have basically a close 1-to-1 SPR with the ace-5. At least you have position, and oh my god,
wow.
Nut flush.
Flopping the nuts, and Junior with a queen of hearts here is going to have a hard time getting away from this hand for the price he's going to get.
Like 150, 200, yeah. Because now you can just commit on the turn jam, so this is beautifully set up. You're range betting everything here. Oh, it's just jam snap off call, so Junior's is dead.
Wow.
And this is one of those spots where you shouldn't be jamming, right? Because you're only getting called by better and folding out all the bluffs if you think he's bluffing. So unless you think he has a hand and you're just trying to get hearts in and get paid off, then the jam's fine. Unfortunate.
Yeah, the money would have went in on the turn anyway here, as we see, but
yeah,
Junior is going to lose about 1/3 of his stack here to Ike, and great double up for Ike.
Yeah, the flip-flop is huge in these tournaments. Like I said, these guys are so relatively short in comparison to each other. They're all sitting, 10, 15 bigs average. So a hit like that hurts a lot, and you just lose so much in ICM value.
Junior came into this final table second in chips, just barely behind Tran in the 5 seat. 2.97 million, and he's losing a big chunk of that now.
Yeah, it's weird to think about, but when you lose a pot like that, you're losing $1,000, $2,000 worth of cash value just because of ICM implications, which it feels bad when you really get down to the thought process of how tournaments work. And that's why raises, especially spots with Peter. Peter's a very aggressive player, and he understands a lot of the tournament spots. We see him all the time on these final tables. He plays aggressive because he understands chips go a long way, and a lot of people aren't willing to fight back against him. And when he wakes up with hands like this under the gun, he definitely doesn't get as much respect as he should be, and he just gets paid off in them. Oh, here's 6 spot.
Yeah,
Wow, with the ace-queen offsuit.
most likely going to see a clash here between 2 of the bigger stacks at the table.
I like the flat just because, like I said, ICM is so important here, and your chips go a long way. You don't want to just 3-bet, run into it, or dust off chips. You can also underrepresent your ace-queen. There's a lot more benefits to just flatting here with ace-queen than raising. And here, like, if it's queen-high flop, then Al's getting all the money, so.
Yeah, Junior with king-queen again, back-to-back. He's going to limp in from the small blind. Joaquin will get out of the way.
Yeah, that's a very disciplined fold, and I like it. Even though you're priced in, you can never think your king is good, and if you hit a 9, it's still really tough, so It's a great fold there. Very disciplined to do it in a big blind. And here, Al flopping best with top pair. Peter might go for a c-bet here. Doesn't have to go too big if he elects to bet. Goes to somewhere 300, 400,000. Bit under half pot.
Alby's got to be feeling great about this flop here.
Yeah.
Only really losing to ace-king at this point, or aces, which is highly unlikely.
Yeah, and I like playing these spots slow, because if he's bluffing, you want him to hang himself, and you don't want to bloat the pot, especially in this spot where it's the 2 chip leaders, basically. Ace-king obviously still beating him, but very less likely now that he sees a king on the turn. I think Peter should slow down on this, and he does. Al can continue to go for value in this spot, but if he doesn't think he's getting any value from worse aces, he can just check back and maybe let Peter hang himself river. Doesn't like to bet, maybe thinking that Peter could have heart draws too, so it's a fine bet, and we'll take it down. So nice pot going Al's way, and up to basically 40 big, so that's huge in terms of this tournament, because now he can coast comfortably to most likely top 4 payouts. As long as he just navigates very carefully.
Very well done.
For him, no, I was talking about his hand.
Alby came into the final table 3rd in chips, now the leader.
Yeah, winning any pot you can at this point is just huge for your stack and obviously morale. Every time you can steal a blind, it's huge. Here, Jack 9 suited. It's always tough. You look down at nice hands like this that you want to play, but out of position first to act. There's a lot of reverse implied odds, and you just have to be disciplined enough to fold them.
75, 125, 125.
Obviously, in a lot of our cash games, we see a lot of our big-time players opening those hands or just getting the mix, but here, a lot of these players more disciplined. This one a bit tricky. Ace-deuce suited in the hijack. Should be an open, but it's really close, especially with the small blind being the short stack at 9 big blinds. You're going to hate it if you raise and then he 3-bets. So, yeah, I disciplined enough to lay it down there. It's so funny because, obviously, the cash games that we watch here on Champions, those guys are just getting in the mix with all those hands. But here you have to be just so much more disciplined and play range and position.
Yeah, a little different when you're playing 300 big blinds deep and when you're playing 20 big blinds deep.
Right. And here, Joe Quinn, 8 bigs. A lot of the time, that should just be a rip.
Yeah.
But yeah, Peter would have obviously snap called off
I almost
there.
raised again. I had ace deuce of hearts.
Those are definitely tricky spots at this point in the tournament where it folds to you in the small blind and you're supposed to be ripping a
You
lot
just
of your
can't have it on
range
the table. This is
with
the
10
food
bigs,
chains right
but
here.
does avoid catastrophe as Peter had him out pip.
And that was the last hand at that level. Blinds are now up to 125,000 for the big. Just going to put more pressure on those shorter stacks.
Medium well.
Yeah, and
with,
like you said, the Champions structure is really good, so
potatoes and-
it's only going from 100K to, I believe, 125K, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken. So
That's
yeah,
correct.
a lot of playability still, even though these guys are still playing 10 to 15 average, effective, big blinds. Doesn't change too much of their stack, but
And it's black and right.
obviously the blind's still increasing as it's a
All
tournament.
fucking day.
And yet you raised me 3 times in a row.
Not at this table.
Not yet, you mean. Not yet, you mean.
Folding around to Joaquin. Looking down at a queen high. Probably not good enough to get his chips in there. Be a little patient and wait for a spot to pick up a set of blinds and antes, or in best case scenario, double up. Peter making a strong move here.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Peter just really understands these spots, and he has the chips that he can do it with. Peter's one of those players that can navigate 5 to 10 big blinds very comfortably, but he's also willing to put in the pressure in these spots because he knows it's tough for shorter stacks to call with the ICM implications at this point. And that's why I was kind of surprised that Joe Queen or Hoa Queen folded the hand prior, because 10-9 offsuit when folded to the small blind should be a plus EV shove, but obviously is able to get away from that one. And then Peter takes advantage of the same situation, folds to him in the small blind, puts maximum pressure on the big blind and steals another orbit of blinds basically. So if Peter decides, not to play a hand for an orbit, he has blinds to survive, I guess, another orbit and see another set of hands. So that's the thing about stealing blinds. It's really important this deep in the tournament to find your spots and try to go for them when you can.
Yeah, it's such a delicate dance that they have to play here, where aggression obviously pays off and is so important in these tournament situations, but
Right.
you also have to be careful, because if you run into it, you could cripple yourself.
Yeah, of course. But Peter's willing to take those risks a lot of the time, and that's why he finds himself in these spots, deep runs.
Yeah.
He's playing for the win, not for the min cash.
And
So-
he opens this one in early position here with King Queen suited.
Yeah, I like it. And this is that tricky spot where you just navigate, 2x opens at this point, and 2x raises are just so strong and so respected at this point in the tournament. When, you early reg a lot of these tournaments, people are 3xing, 4xing the big blind, and you're always getting called. But here, this late into the tournament, 2x is all you need, because when this happens, this
Baker
is
now
so sick.
all
Yeah.
in with a small
much is
pair
that?
here, and
Tran has to fold. That's pretty sick. So
Check it again.
a bit under 10 bigs. This is the great thing about going 2x big blind, because you can comfortably get away with folding king queen and not hate yourself. Obviously, you don't mind the call because you're flipping in this spot, but folding here isn't the worst either, because you're just losing 2 big blinds. You're sitting on a very healthy stack of almost 30 bigs.
Andy, a bartender from Bulgaria, here at the final table, decides to let go of that King Queen suited.
And yeah, like I said, it's not the worst fold and not worst call off either. I think the call off is kind of rough because you're behind a lot of ace X's, and then you're obviously flipping against all these other pocket pairs. So there's a lot of his range where he's just so far ahead, and you can't be happy flipping all the time, especially this late into the tournament. You don't want to burn up close to 9 big blinds when you're sitting on 26, because then you lose a lot of cash value within your chips. So very disciplined fold, and good fold, and even Tran making the good fold with the pocket eights. A lot of time he's just dominated or flipping, so unfortunate that he was ahead in that spot, but he won't be able to know until after he watches the stream back. Ace queen suited here, obviously this is going to be a snap jam in the hijack. One of those spots where if they have it and you lose, it is what it is, but very standard jam at this point, 6.6 bigs.
And as predicted, he does get it all in there. Peter with Jack 10 suited will get out of the way.
Yeah, such a pretty hand to look at, but obviously ICM and cash value implications so much more important. And yeah, these players being put to the test, because yeah, that's a fold, but we always look at these hands and we would love to play them in cash, but this isn't a cash
Right.
game. And Al here.
Yeah, you can't just reach back in your pocket and buy more chips when you lose a big punt at this table. Makes a big difference here. Now, I'll be getting a pretty good price, but Queen Jack is going to be behind a lot of the time here, even against the short stack.
Yeah, you just can't risk 6 bigs, 6, 7 bigs in this late in the tournament. You have to think about it in terms of ICM, with everyone sitting so relatively you're just behind a lot of ace X's and pocket pairs. So now he's only live to Jack, of course, and weird straight draws. But the ICM implication in this spot is you're basically, as chip leader, you want to let these other short stacks battle it out and call each other off unless you have a monster, because you're basically burning up a few $1,000s worth of your stack. There's better spots than this one to call off, so.
A really good flop here for Joaquin. Good shot to double up through. Just has to avoid now a jack on the
Yeah.
river and a jack alone.
And that's the thing, patience in these tournaments will win you the game, and then obviously you have to win your flips, but right there he goes from 7 bigs to 14 bigs, a bit more now obviously with small blind and ante, but at 15 bigs you're sitting a lot more comfortably, you have a little bit of playability.
Yeah, and you go from feeling the pressure of I need to get these chips in this orbit to now he can survive for 1 or 2 orbits without having
For
to
sure.
worry about it.
Yeah, he goes from shipping a lot of hands when folded to in position, and now he can comfortably open 2x a lot of his stronger hands and then play post flop. Feels a lot better when you get to play post flop and realize your equity in showdown rather than just flipping for a few $1,000s. And just like that, some of the stacks evening out once again. Andy obviously still with a pretty big stack. And like I said, now Joe Queen with the King Jack offsuit has a bit of playability. A bit too early position, which is the only problem with this hand. A lot of tournament crushers will tell you King Jack offsuit are folds under the gun and then the +1, but here it's kind of close. So here he's going to open up to 250K. Gets Queen Jack off to fold, and Baker with the ace-8 of diamonds is going to have to fold to this open, unfortunately. Unless he thinks he can just get him off and 3-bet. Still a lot of action behind though. Button, small blind, big blind.
Yeah, tricky spot to navigate, facing a raise and having kind of a
Oh,
weak
it does
eight.
go all in. And I love this. So your range is just so much stronger with the suited ace. You should only have, you know, ace jack plus suited plus pocket pairs. So really like the jam. I prefer this jam rather than a flat or a 3-bet. So, and then just like that, he steals 4 to 5 big blinds. And that's kind of the tough part about opening King Jack offsuit under the gun or early position, because you're never going to like it when there's a 3-bet, and then even playing post flop's a bit tricky unless you flop a jack, because you never know if you're going to kings be out pip. You're only out pip by ace jack if a jack flops. And even then, it's still so tough to play post flop, offsuit, King Jack. And as a cash player, obviously, I would love to play King Jack as much often as possible, but sometimes in these tournament spots in early position, you just have to fold these monster hands. Here, Peter with the King 9 suited. And we're just talking about this, the King Jack offsuit, but Peter has a pretty healthy stack where he can put a lot more pressure, and that's why he's going almost 3x. It just puts a lot more pressure on these other hands that would think about doing that 3-bet or ripping it, just because Peter has such a huge stack. They have to worry that he's willing to get in the money and that he is a monster a lot of the time. So you have to be a lot more top of the range, and just like that, he's able to steal another orbit of blinds.
Yeah, aggression paying off again for Peter.
It's not to say that King 9 is better than King Jack, but being suited also helps with the post-flop playability. Talk about suits only having 1% better equity than their counterparts being offsuit, but it still helps a lot more post-flop. Just navigating if you have 2 spades or something on the board. Here, ace-6 suited. Like I said, it looks pretty, but you're opening early position, which is the only problem, so a lot of time you're just going to be dominated by a better ace. You're putting yourself into tricky spots, so really good fold there with the ace-6 suited. Here, ace-8 offsuit. Pretty close in the hijack. I think he's trying to get a steal a round of blinds for the orbit, but
Yeah, Tran hasn't really been involved in any hands since the final table started here, so he's going to have a relatively tight image. But Ike waking up with King Jack on the button here will give it some thought. It looks like he is going to call.
yeah, in position, King Jack plays a lot better. Junior here with the Queen Jack suited.
Getting a really good price. But again, a
This
hand
is-
that's often dominated.
Yeah, this is the tough part. I don't mind it if it was heads up, but here when you're in between 2 players, it's just a lot harder to navigate. And here he's just gonna, yeah, it's unfortunate. Tran shouldn't be leading here for what it's worth. Your opponent, especially if you don't have a jack in your hand, obviously your opponents are gonna have a jack a lot more often. They're gonna have pocket pairs a lot more often. So I'm not a fan of the lead here with the ace-8 offsuit. I think the raise was fine pre-flop. Now Ike obviously calling Junior with only 10 bigs. If he calls here, he might as well get it in, which is the unfortunate part. Might go jam, fold, call.
He may be able to get away from this with the bet and the call in front of him, and he doesn't have
Doesn't
have
fold,
a
yeah.
backdoor draw of any kind. So,
Yeah, that's a really disciplined fold, and I like it.
yeah, well played.
Five of spades does give Tran the gutter ball to the wheel, but it's not a lot of outs. Tran checks, Ike jams, and Tran quickly folds. So
Yeah,
well played.
just like that. Tran loses about a third of his chips there, taking a stab on that flop.
Yeah, that was
Could
the
be
best
a
case.
costly mistake.
Yeah, that was the best case scenario for Junior too, to just call there and fold that flop. It's not easy to let that one go, but
Only one hand beats me on that flop.
And with that pot, Ike overtaking Alby as the chip leader. 3.3 million in
Yeah.
his stack now.
Ike's a crusher. I got to see him over in Vegas, crushing it. Saw some of the stallions out there too, so.
And disciplined fold by Junior, but after seeing that flop, he is now the short stack at this table with less than 10 big blinds in the small blind now.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think with the queen jack hand, you're really looking to just flop a straight two pair or the flush, of course, and when you flop a jack, it's just so tricky. Obviously, Junior was really good to get away from it, but you never like it when you have to fold top pair. We always talk about how hard it is to make a pair in Hold'em, and to fold it is even harder sometimes. Here, Baker opening the 10-8 suited to 275K. Should take it down. It's a pretty strong open, and steals an orbital blinds. And he's in a spot now where he has enough chips to be making lighter raises, just like Peter. So,
Keeping the pressure on the shorter stacks.
yeah, definitely tough. All these guys trying to make another 1-2K pay jump. So you know these shorter stacks are going to be a bit tighter for the most part.
This game's fun. Do you guys play it much? No?
Position so important too. When you do have a bigger stack, if you can open before one of the other big stacks does, they'll mostly stay out of your way because
here.
everybody's looking to ladder up.
Yeah, and that's the name of the game at this point. It's just how disciplined can you be and how can you navigate. Here, ace jack offsuit under the gun, very clear open. These are definitely a bit trickier hands. A lot of time you get 3-bet, you're not sure if your ace jack is good. You have to assume that you're behind ace king, ace queen, or flipping a lot of time, but obviously you have to raise it early position, ace jack offsuit, too strong to just fold or call. And a lot of these tables, you never want to just be calling. You always want to be opening. And here, Junior, and this is what I was talking about, where when you do get 3-bet, it's unfortunate because you're going to have to call off at this point with the ace jack offsuit, especially to a small stack of only 9 bigs, give or take. It's me a jam and a call and looking for an ace. Junior in good shape to double up here. Baker wouldn't mind losing this though. Oh, and jack on the flop, so now a few more outs added.
And backdoor diamonds.
Yeah, so
Queen's still obviously in the lead and in really good shape here, but you hate to see a flop like that. Oh
and
my.
right there on the turn.
Well, now he needs a king or a queen to stay alive in this tournament.
That's so unfortunate. And Junior played very disciplined. Has to get it in with the queens, of course. And
Yeah, just ran into it there.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do there when you get the queens, especially with that stack. You're obviously getting them in the middle. And Junior outlasting over 300 players. Great run. We'll be taking home 47-10. Feels bad, but get your money in with the best of it is all you can do. And sometimes it just doesn't work out.
And all these other guys get a $1,200 pay jump for being disciplined. So that's the thing. Hoa Queen and Tran over there finding their spots, playing somewhat patient, and rewarded another $1,200 pay jump just like that. Tough spot. Sometimes you just gotta get in the flips and hope to win it.
Because it's you.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting all the chips in there if I have queens in that spot.
Yeah. Like I said, the ace jack offsuit open under the gun is like, it's so standard, but when you get 3-bet like that, you're obviously going to have to call off just because of the blinds. And then when you see his hand, you're just not happy about it, but it does survive there. Here, Peter just flatting, and Baker now raising. 425,000, a lot larger. Peter's just going to get away from it, so. These guys obviously very deep relative to the other players, so don't want to play too big of a pot, rather just take it down pre. Make a big sizing pre and then just take it down.
Bro, I had Jack, Queen, and Diamonds. I'm not flatting.
You'll see that a lot, blind versus blind, larger than standard opening, it seems.
Yeah, they just don't want them to come in too cheap, and then it's really hard to navigate in a blind versus blind situation. That could have been very beneficial for Baker, though, because he had Peter's diamonds covered. Here, go a queen with the pocket sevens. A little bit tricky. You have a bit larger of a starting stack.
He's right at 10 bigs now.
Sorry, a lot bigger of a stack than he did when he started.
Yeah. He will get it in here. Late position with a pair. Can't fault him for that.
Yeah, 10 bigs. Yeah, picking up the blinds is always important.
Yeah. And that gets him one free orbit.
Yeah, pretty crazy. You go from 127K to 1 mil. 1.275 mil to 1.6 mil. You can see how big the blinds are at this point into the tournament and how impactful they are. Stealing a set of blinds each orbit gives you a lot of playability and more life moving forward, especially with these guys now being 7-handed. Like with the Jack 10 suited, we talk about these like they look so good. We're playing them in cash games, but in tournaments, it's a bit tougher. You have to be a bit more disciplined, and just like that, Ike does fold.
Especially under the gun, it's just jack high.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You have to be a crusher like that and just be so disciplined to be able to fold them.
The later your position is, the more valuable these hands become, of course. But again, Queen 9 suited, not really something that you want to risk a large percentage of your stack with.
Yeah, you have 4 players left to act, and if you raise and swing 3-bets, then you obviously have to snap fold. So.
And with Baker's stack, he can put some pressure on here from the button with just about any hand. Having a little connector here, he could raise. You'd prefer it to be suited, obviously. But he does opt to put the pressure on, raising it up to 300,000.
Yeah, I like it in position, 300K. Putting pressure.
And it looks like it's going to work out here. I doubt Alby's going to make a move with Jack 5.
Yeah.
Bro, I was working on it for you.
It's tough because when you wake up with a hand that bad, it's basically a 3-bet or fold. Because if you think you're getting bullied by a wide range on the
Given more
button,
than I got.
then you should just push back. But of course, there's always that what if he actually has it. So it's fine to fold there. But if you're going to try to do anything, it'd be best to just 3-bet and put more pressure back. There's definitely a lot of leveling wars at this point where if you're against another good player, you know that they're capable of opening up their range in position like that. And sometimes you will just have to play back. Here are the pocket 5s, and has enough chips now to just open 2x. But of course,
this is a really tough spot with a small pair like that. Walken does get out of the way, and now Peter with 6s and all the chips he has can put a little bit of pressure on.
Yeah, I like to fold with pocket 5s in very early position, especially this shallow. It's better just get rid of these smaller pocket pairs, because like this exact spot that's happening, you're just going to run into better pairs or a lot of better ace highs, ace king, ace queen, ace jack, where you're flipping a lot of time. And when you get 3-bet with the pocket 5s, you just never love it. You basically have to assume that you have to hit a set at that point.
I'm rooting for you, bro.
Or to fade 6 outs, of course,
All you gotta do is fold.
on a board.
Hoping he gets a walk, bro. 'Cause he gave me something. No, you didn't.
Oh yeah,
No, you didn't.
I gave a couple today.
God. He did give me the opposite of walks.
I give you a walk.
That's the man. You're right.
But you're gonna give me one. I know that.
Bro, you also jammed on me too. If you done.
You have a jam on me if you want. Yeah, there we go. That's even.
Like right here, Dan, we know this is an open, but has to be folded in these spots early position.
Yeah, even I at the final table would lay down 7-4 offsuit.
275.
275,000. 5 folds. 6 folds.
Yeah, Baker has so much
7 folds.
playability, such deep stack now. He can open up a lot of these hands, and of course this is a very standard open, but it feels a lot better when you have the chips to back it up and you're okay losing 2x blinds, whatever it might be. And he might get sticky and elect to defend here. Just folds, so yeah, very tough.
Whoa, whoa.
A lot of chips,
Pick on the little guy?
a lot of these bigger stacks,
No, I'm
they
feeling
don't want
mine
to
didn't move, right? That's rude.
fight in big pots against each other. These guys are all very good players, or they understand the ICM implications. They understand that their chips go a long
Not
way.
a big ace there, man. You're not. I'm not trying to steal your blind. Broadway ace.
And Baker now the biggest stack at the table after those couple of
Just
pickups.
watching the stream.
4.5 million.
Broadway ace.
You're ahead.
Here, Peter with pocket
Ace
threes, early
and
position.
offsuit.
Peter's not one, though, to shy away from these small pocket pairs. He's willing to play them.
3 raises to 300,000.
Goes 300K.
The draggers.
4 folds. 5 folds.
Yeah, gets folds from King Jack offsuit.
6 folds. 7 folds.
So under the gun open is relatively strong. People play with Peter know that he's capable of raising a lot of stuff, though, so.
King 5 is Andy's favorite hand, according to his bio sheet here, but
That's why he tanked and
Oh,
yeah.
reluctantly folds there.
If y'all up announced.
bro.
And Joaquin has my favorite
Even
hand, but
carb
should
load
also
with the
lay that
protein,
down.
eh?
And
Yeah.
Peter picks up another one.
And just like that, he's now paid for his big blind and small
Nice.
blind for the orbit, so. With just measly pocket threes.
Small blind, please. 75,000.
If you're out there watching, we appreciate you. Please give us a like and a subscribe if you haven't already done so. And if you like what you're seeing, hit that notification bell to get great Champions Poker Live content in your feed.
4, 5, 6 folds.
We do have cash game streams coming up for the rest of the week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Time. Action on this hand folds all the way around to the small blind. Joaquin waking up with an ace here. Most likely going to be a raise, but we've seen Peter with a lot of aggression.
1 is all in.
Yeah, I like the jam. It's one of those spots where you just have to recognize you're sitting pretty shallow, folds to you. You're ahead of a lot of hands, to be honest.
Yeah, and if you min click or even 3x in that spot, Peter very likely to put the pressure back on you. So a jam in that spot
Guess what
just
time it is?
takes away all of your
Walk time. Big blind. Let's go.
guesswork.
Yeah, it's definitely a spot where like he has to have a pocket pair or
Well,
a
I
better
got
ace
double
high to
up
call off. And if he calls off with king, queen, king, jack,
Yeah.
queen, jack,
I
you're
want
more
you to
than
leave my
happy,
blind
as
alone.
ace high is
That's what I
obviously
want.
ahead of those hands.
All right, since you assist.
Appreciate that.
You owe me 2.
I owe you what?
You owe me 2 walks.
We're over here keeping score on walks.
1 folds.
You're gonna get a wall.
Folding around.
That's what I'm talking about, bro.
First walk of the final table.
Yeah, if you went
Baker
there,
looking
you'd be
down
on.
at a little pocket
pocket
pair. Probably happy not to have to call a
Not a
raise
great
with
one,
force.
but hey. Blinds are a ton of money. Bro, I just want you to know, Joe, you're over here crushing it. Keep doing you, dude. I appreciate you. Fastest dealer in the world.
Yeah, it's nice to come back to the Champions dealers. When I was out in Vegas, I almost lost my mind during 2 dealer downs over there. You see
Almost got
some
offended, then I realized I'm
pretty
in small
bad stuff.
Yeah, we do have some of the best in the world right here at Champions.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very, very happy to be back to all these dealers.
And Joe is high on the list of those.
Yeah, I didn't even get Joe to deal to me today, but everyone else was just amazing. It's sometimes I take for granted.
Yeah.
But if you go to Vegas and play the series, you'll greatly appreciate what you have at home.
And not that they don't have some great dealers at the series, but they have
Oh,
to
yeah, of
hire
course.
1,500
Right,
dealers.
right.
So
Of course,
a
there's-
lot
I
of them
know.
are going to be
I got right
garbage.
out of your way.
Of course, there's some really good
All
dealers,
upset about
but
giving me a walk, bro. I
oh
folded.
man,
3 ways.
It's
We
on.
got the
I'll just turn it
draggers
back
in
on.
effect again for Peter.
Dragger's still ahead, surprisingly, but
Open-ended for Alby and 2 overcards for Ike as well. How will Peter navigate this very coordinated board? Ike,
yeah, just gonna have to check, unfortunately. Ace, obviously, really bad card for your 3s.
and you have Alby who opens under the gun and Ike who calls in early position too. One of these guys is supposed to have an ace, so
Yeah, it's
there's no way Peter can bet this one.
Yeah, everyone's just really handcuffed, which is unfortunate because I think Al, when the ace comes on the turn, you kind of have to barrel and hope that the other guys don't have an ace that they called you with. Because you're the under the gun opener, you should have a lot of those ace X's and pocket pairs. But here, Ike just recognizing that when Al checks that turn, he doesn't have an ace. And Peter checking turn 2 means that he most likely does not have one either. Peter's range is a lot more pocket pairs when he checks back that turn. Al's range is a lot of king highs and pocket pairs as well. Peter, though, making the great call.
Yeah,
Understanding that Ike, these guys played too much together with too many tournaments, and that's just a really sick call.
yeah.
Wow.
All players recognizing
Yeah.
exactly what's going on there. Ike taking a stab at it, can't blame him for that with all the chips he has. But Peter making a great call, and now almost chip leader at the table, just a couple 100,000 behind Baker.
Oh yeah, you just got hit with another.
Yeah, one of those spots where, yeah, that's just, that's just good poker all around. And here, chip counts 36 bigs at the top there. Baker, Peter right behind with 35 bigs. Everyone else middling of the pack with Tran and Hoa Queen down to 10 and 12 big blinds down there at the bottom.
And Tran came into this final table as the chip leader. Now down at the bottom there, Joaquin came in as the shortest stack and has laddered up 2 spots already.
Yeah, 7th place payout, just short of 6,000, and another pay jump for another 1,300, just like that. If you can outlast the field.
Somebody is shitty. Somebody is
And
bad
with
at
that,
this.
the blinds are increasing now to
Needs to be able to make some
150,000 for the big blind, so up from 125K. What a great structure. Average stack still just under 20 big blinds.
Bro, you got a dirty stack.
Plenty of play for most of these players. A couple of short stacks in danger. One of them in the small blind right now.
Bro.
And Joaquin looking to make something happen before that big blind gets to him. He's got just over 10 bigs. Suited king might be good enough in late position, but he elects to wait, see if he can get something better than a king deuce. Don't hate it.
It's just tough when you have Peter and Baker on your direct left.
Yeah, and Peter continues to be very active, raising it up to 300,000 with queen jack suited in late position.
Yeah, because if you do open jam something like king deuce, a lot of times you can get called a lot lighter because Peter and Baker have so many chips that they can be calling with a better king. So they could be calling with like literally king 8 suited plus if they think you're just jamming a wide range. So
And here goes Tran, all in with the 8s.
yeah,
He is ahead.
has to go with it here. Less than 10 big blinds.
Peter had opened this one to 300,000. Now it is $1 million more for him to call. About a third of his stack if he decides to make this call.
Yeah, it just folds. He has to assume that there's a lot of ace X's that can do that too. So
Sure.
he's just dominated by that and then flipping with all these other pocket pairs. So 1 million would be burning almost $2,000 in ICM value at this point with all these other shorter stacks. And Peter's obviously, from what we see, very capable of just being super aggressive with his stack, so he'd rather wait for better spots to just be aggressive and then call off. No reason for him to burn off 1/4 of his stack when he can use that in a lot better spots, just being aggressive.
That play worked out great for Tran. He was the shortest coming in to this new level and picks up 5 big blinds with that move. Folds around to Peter, and again with a decent hand here, pocket pair of deuces, raising it up to 350.
Yeah, you have to remember that Peter only raised 2-3x that last hand, so if he can steal the blinds here, he gets his raise back effectively, so very understanding of taking his spots very carefully. Al here, small blind, out of position with ace-x offsuit, thinking probably 3-betting or folding. Does elect to fold. Ike here with the 10-5 offsuit, most likely going to fold. And just like that, Peter gets his raise back from the previous hand.
Turns over 1 deuce. Oh, he turned them both over, okay.
Was that to show that you're raising light or to show that you had it? No, I almost like really quick.
I definitely had
almost
two
made it.
overs.
I think everyone had 2 over.
I did
I
it
wasn't
too.
quite strong enough. I'm not going to start getting a line against your stack.
I did it too.
1 fold, 3 folds.
Baker, all the chips in the world, looking down at 2 red aces.
It was a bit, 325k because blinds went up. Yeah, I like the sizing. 2.5, give or
Yeah,
take.
Just over a min click, and nobody
Card
has
dead.
anything to defend with.
Yeah, unfortunate, but
I'm
he
card
doesn't have
dead.
to take down the blinds, so
Picked a hell of a place, and you saved it for the final table.
it is what it is.
Oh,
But
what?
It's all right.
stealing as many blinds
ain't
as you
over
can
yet.
at these points.
Why didn't I give you a
is
walk?
so
I only had
important.
ones. You're right. I probably should have.
Those 3 times already. This table.
Tried to make it as inviting as I could. 325 wasn't much. The button's supposed to be ripped there. Trying to take advantage of me.
If I did not have 7 duels, yeah.
Yeah, when there's only 125 big blinds at the on the whole table, you're more than happy to pick up 2 with any hand.
Yeah, especially if the other players are the ones with the 2.5 bigs that are in dire need of them. The more you can milk out of these shorter stacks, the better position you are to ladder up.
25 more in the middle.
Here, Al in the cutoff, raising to 300k with my favorite hand, the King 9 offsuit. Most likely trying to look to steal an orbital blinds as he's been pretty card dead after calling off that other spot with the Queen Jack.
And Andy looks like he's starting to get frustrated with these hands that are kind of pretty cash game hands, but really not great
Both these
tournament
players,
hands, and feels like people are. It can feel like you're getting picked on.
yeah,
When-
both these players are the 2 that have not been waking up with hands and getting involved. Does elect to call here with the 10-9 suited out of the small blind. I probably prefer this hand as a 3-bet, but it's okay here to just call and evaluate post flop. And now we do get heads up. The 9 dominated, but Andy does have clubs here.
We saw another 9 going into the muck, so 9.
King 3, and then we have
Oh, wow.
fire.
Flush draw versus trips.
Obviously, both these players are not going to be folding, and it's so interesting because they're not that deep relative to the pot. It's probably going to go check, bet, call, unless Andy decides to lead here. You don't want to lead here just because you're going to be folding out a lot of bluffs and only getting called by better. If you want to realize your equity with a flush draw, a check raise might be the way to go because you have a lot of fold equity against the bluffs. Andy obviously thinking about it. Going 450. Al here. This is so sick because if Al thinks Andy's bluffing on a flush draw, he could. He can do really anything. He can call here to allow the bluffs to continue, or he can raise to charge the flush draws. In tournament spots like this, though, where the chips are so much more important, I'd probably prefer getting the money in. But you're not going to get called by anything but better, which is the only tough thing about raising or jamming. Yeah, these tournament spots are so tricky. That's why I love tournaments over cash sometimes, because no spot is really the same.
Yeah, and it's each
Jack of
mistake
hearts.
is so much more important.
Yeah, compounded, for sure. And here, clean turn for Al. If he was behind King, Queen, King, Jack,
I'm all in.
it is what it is. And here, Andy
Yeah.
jamming, Al, snap call.
Andy picks up a combo draw now, can hit a queen as well as a club.
Has to fade a queen or a club. Al putting up 2
3
times.
times. It's got to be a winner, bro. We're not just handing each other's money.
Put a
back.
club out there.
No, I mean, I thought about it before.
And Andy needing to catch up here
Oh.
and gets there. Wow, Andy's got Alby
That's
covered.
so unfortunate.
Yeah, I think so.
And Alby flopping the world. And
That's so
unfortunately
Yeah, you don't have to.
going down
You got him covered.
in 7th place.
It's hard to run ICM with 0 chips.
Cash game player mostly. Alby
I said,
is a business owner.
On the king.
after you call, you gotta know you had
Made a great run today, outlasting
I'll say after he called
When
the
you
first
said
bet-
all in and
no,
he
yeah,
said snap call, you knew he
No,
was
when he first called his first bet on the flop, I
3
knew
players.
He pushed on it.
I thought you had 8.
He taking home almost 6,000 for his efforts over the weekend. Not too bad, but obviously when you get it in so good, you just have the dollar signs in your head. What a bad run out for him. But that now really helping Andy's stack. Puts him right up there with the chip leaders. Goes Baker, Andy, and then Peter now. All over 4 million in chips. And then there were 6.
One fold. Three calls. Checks. 3 checks. 7 checks. 3 checks, 7 checks. Bet 375, 740.
I had one of those.
Peter
Too.
taking down another one.
My 3 kicker was for sure good.
Getting the 7 on the river for chips, trying to go for value, not
Guys,
getting
back to
any.
this walk conversation, all right?
And now we have 3 players
Make it happen, guys.
close to 5 mil, above the
Come on, work
4.5
together.
mil park.
No reason to get
And
greedy.
the other 3
Looking good.
below 2 mil. Very clear difference in the
Bro, you
chip
came with
stack
the
sizes,
pressure.
but it
Hold
just
on.
takes
You
one
love
flip
that
to
donkey,
switch.
bro. You love that. Oh, will you pre-flop aggressor? Take that. Take that. Take that. Coming at you.
I'm learning from you. I've been
Bro,
watching
what are you
do
talking
it all
about,
day.
dude? I can't even remember last time I donk lead today, last table.
Table getting a little more talkative now. Everybody getting to that ladder that they feel a little bit better about. Loosening up a bit. Joaquin, the shortest stack now, on the button with an ace. It folds around to him, and he gets it in there.
Count.
Yeah, I believe it's something like 8 big blinds, so
2-5.
very standard, ace
I
high.
fold. I fold.
And yeah,
Let's
just
do
like
it.
that, back to 1.6
Really excited
mil.
about it. I was
Very
gonna have the fish
patient,
hooks,
understands
and
his
this turned out to
spots.
be Garbage.
Understands when he has to jam.
I'm gonna remember that. by
And
the
just
way. My
surviving.
big blind.
That's the name of the
So,
game. Survive, win your flips,
Coming back. Fair.
and then you can play some poker.
Well, you want to? What?
What would you like me to put them on this side or?
And you talked
No,
about a
just move
hook
your
queen
chips over
coming
to
into
left
this
more.
final table as the shortest stack.
Nobody's gonna
And
be sat in that
just
seat.
like that,
Unless- is there
3
anybody
ladder
else? Is there another
spots
table
up.
breaking coming over? No.
Yeah, that's got to feel good. Basically doubling what he would have earned if he'd
Never
gone
played
out
one of these
ninth.
before. I'm kind of new.
Ike opening this one with the queen
What's
jack
that?
suited. It's tough.
That's what I'm saying, dude. So I
A
can
lot
buy
of these
50.
times, these hands are folds, but you just have to open up just so you can try to steal an
Trying to
orbital
open up my
blinds.
range.
You need to try to survive. He's in the big blind next hand, so he's going to have less than 8 bigs. Right here, Andy with the pocket sevens. If he thinks Ike's opening up light, and he could go over the top, maybe just flat. A flat seems really strong. Might push the other guys out if you flat, but looks like he's folding. Don't fault him for the fold. Too many people behind left to act still.
Yeah, another one of those situations where it's most likely a flipper, you're dominated. And
Yeah,
with
it's just-
people behind, he
yeah, it's
decides to
Super tricky.
wait for a better spot.
A little better, no?
Yeah, that's exactly it. It just have to wait for a better spot because it's so tricky. If you flat there and you get 3-bet, you never love it. If you jam there, you're only getting snap called off by better. So,
But if I just call, like, I gotta raise a little bit. I got 2 people right there. Expose my stack. I don't know, I just didn't like that position for pocket.
Sevens are good. You had like ace 10, right? Somewhere in there.
Better than ace 10.
Really?
better than ace
But
10.
pocket 7 was good.
I almost got squirrely there. Glad I didn't.
I just don't know what do I do
Do I
with the
get-
jam. You
do I
know
get
what I mean?
2
Then
queen?
I gotta.
I guess. I'd like to make the joke of waiting until it comes to me and then raise, but he's back over there shaking his head. No, don't do that. That is funny though, right? A little bit. He's like a 20 when I'm not. He's like a 20 when I'm not running the tournament.
This is only the 1,1239 time he's heard it.
$325.
Oh, and here, Baker just does get squirrely after he says he was going to get squirrely.
Yeah. Picks
Tran
it.
jamming picks up a huge amount of blinds right there.
No
4 bigs,
connectors,
just like that.
no. Jack high. Jack 6 off.
If you didn't do it, I was gonna do the same shit.
Damn it. So if I rip, you guys call?
Huh?
If I rip, you call?
No, no.
You don't.
So I was gonna raise
I
you.
fold, you do it.
If I rip, you fold, right?
Small blind, big blind.
He fold, I fold.
If he rips, I fold. But if he would have folded, I was gonna raise.
Oh, I know he's BS.
Me?
Yeah.
What?
I need to be something like that.
Bro.
Here,
You over here soldering? You guys know what I got?
under the gun,
Is that fair?
super,
Can I get a ruling?
very close spot. It's probably going to be a jam,
What? Is
but
that what the camera is?
you just never love it. You'd rather have ace king, of course, but I think it's a standard jam here. Ace jack offsuit under the gun.
Yeah, they are 6-handed, so under the gun now is a little different than under the gun when they were 9-handed.
Yeah, does jam.
And might be rewarded here now as one of the bigger stacks looks down at an ace-5.
1.6.
Joaquin's jamming range is a lot
Every time you execute, I
wider.
already know you're gonna fold.
I know.
Every time you execute, that means you're gonna fold every time.
Baker does get out of the way.
That's a tell?
Every time he executes. I played with him at 3 tables today, and anytime you ever ask how much the stack is when somebody's all in, he always
Bro,
folds.
I had ace 5 offsuit.
But you always fold when you exit.
Yeah.
Somebody's watching you.
If you actually want to know why I do it, it's to make sure that other people don't miscount in the hand. If they have a decent marginal hand, they don't look at there and think that he has too many chips and then fold away, not knowing how many big blinds. So I ask for a
you do it to
count.
help everyone.
I wait till it's my position. I ask for a count, and that way nobody behind me is gonna misclick or fucking look back and be like, oh wait, how much is that? Oh, that's 5 bigs, man. I should have called.
I understand.
You know. You're right. If I'm gonna do it, I probably just do it.
Yeah, you're gonna do it.
Yeah. I know what it is roughly.
Exactly.
So
That's
yeah.
one thing I know about you. You're gonna do it.
Oh, Peter here with
Also,
pocket
sometimes the guy
jacks.
doing it doesn't realize how many bigs he's doing it with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when it gets counted out, they're like, ooh, forgot I won a couple hands, you know?
And
That's
Peter,
my
the
first
biggest
time. That's
stack
my
right now,
Three raises.
opening for 375.
Jeez.
This is definitely a spot where you want the big line to wake up with a hand, the short stack, but
If we would have fold, I push you fold?
What?
If we would have fold.
Folds around to the blinds.
No, my hand was horrible. I didn't think he was making
475.
So how you gonna make that move then?
Because I knew he was bullshit.
475.
So if I rip it, though, neither can call, right? You fold
No, you
too?
rip it out fold, but regardless. But in
Yeah,
that
we rip
situation,
it.
this is definitely tougher than it seems, I think. It's a fold, of course, but Peter's obviously very capable of raising a lot better, or a lot more marginal hands than just Jack, so Queen have to giving it a little second of a thought there before folding the King 9.
What time is it anyway?
I don't know, bro. That made me take off my watch.
Four fold.
Peter breaking that 5 mil mark after that hand. Ike now looking down at the King Queen offsuit. Bit under 10 bigs. Raises here. And this is what makes Ike a bit of a stronger player than others. He recognizes that he doesn't have to just jam these hands. He can raise comfortably and also get away from them. And look to fight another day, but here, folds to Peter. Peter with the ace-6 offsuit, ripping it on him.
Ace.
And Ike calling. Understands that Peter's very capable too, and Peter can rip a lot of range.
And
Very
Peter
close.
ahead here. Ike with 2 live cards needs some help.
Spades are not live, so needs to look for a king or a queen, or maybe running Jack 10 at this point. A 7 would seal the deal for Peter, however. Spade less out now, looking for the king or queen, non-spade. Peter in a very good position to stack Ike, and these players looking to ladder up another spot. And just like that,
The ace high does hold, and unfortunately that means Ike will be leaving us in 6th place.
Yeah, run it up.
But a nice run for him, taking home $7,200.
yeah, we might hear and see more of him in Vegas too. He's gonna go back, try to crush more of the series. 7,200, and these other guys getting another $1,800 pay jump to 9,000, close to this 5-figure mark. One more bust out, and we're there. These guys playing for $35,850 up top. Good prize pool. Champions crushed it. It was 150K guarantee. Broke over 180K. And that's with a lot of people being out in Vegas and the series as well, so.
Yeah, always a sweat when all the big tournament players are out of town.
8 raised to 450.
Here, Andy now opening up in the cutoff to 450,000 with the King 9 suited. 5-handed, game changes a lot quicker.
Yeah, you have to
Just like
widen
that.
your range under the gun. Now the hijack.
And a lot of these guys sitting very deep now.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say
Poe
anything
Queen
about it, bro.
still
I
only
can
10
apologize
bigs,
for what you
but
just did to me.
10 bigs still hurts
apologize, I
the
was
stacks
gonna say
of
it.
Baker and Andy for the most part. So
Yeah, average stack now 25 big blinds. So as you said, plenty of poker to be played here. Joaquin is sitting just above 10, so he
Yeah.
is in danger. But just about everybody else has some wiggle room here. Can actually do some opening. Oh, look at this, back to back. It's gonna look less strong because he just raised the last hand, and now he wakes up with aces under the gun.
yeah, whatever he did last sizing, he should go the same thing. 375, I believe it was. Keep everything consistent, standard.
Raise.
Don't change it up.
Looks like he's going bigger to 450 this time.
I don't mind it because he is in an earlier position. but it just looks so strong at this point. That's 3x the big blind. I don't think anyone's gone 3x this entire time on the final table.
Very first or second hand, Peter got, I think, jacks and raised to 5x, which was a huge raise, but it was jacks.
Yeah.
And other than that, yeah, I think you're right. Nobody's really gone more than 2.5x.
It's definitely a spot where, like, yeah, you would hate to get your aces cracked, but you need to extract value. You want the big blind, especially because Tran's the second shortest stack, to call off and just get it in bad. We saw that hand, obviously, we can see the hands. Tran had king 9. If you click it 2x or 2.5x, he might call with the king 9 and just get himself into trouble. So, yes, there's a possibility that your aces get cracked, but you have to take those spots. You have to be willing to risk it sometimes because aces are obviously favored, and you just want to get all the chips. You're not trying to go for a min cash at this point. You're trying to play for 36,000 up top. And here, Peter, with your hand, Dan, 7-4
Nice.
Suited. Short-handed.
He has enough chips.
Yeah, short-handed.
And in position.
Very, very standard raise from Peter. He goes 450,000, and this is so strong. Unfortunately, he's running into it here, but this is when you want to go big because you have these hands that you put pressure on, and this is a huge rip. This is just going to be a snap fold for both players.
Yeah, and Baker now picking up a lot of extra big blinds because of that big raise from Peter.
Yeah,
But Peter, has to keep that aggressive line going. Sometimes it's not going to work out. Sometimes it's not going to work out.
Right. And he chose a really good hand to do it with, and
Ace queen.
that's why he should go big like that because, as we saw with aces, you're getting folds a lot more often. They can't call you marginal. They literally have to have something like ace queen or better to fight back against you. Unfortunately, he ran into one of those hands, but a lot of time he's just stealing the blinds and just chipping up more and more. And that ace-queen offsuit jam is kind of ambitious because if Peter actually wakes up with a hand like jacks or better when he's raising that big, the ace-queen's going to be behind a lot of time and just dominated. Ace-king, jacks, or better. No one should really be calling off 30 big blinds without a more dominating hand. So that jam was a bit too ambitious. But Baker still able to take down 800,000 in chips with that jam, so worked out for him. Here, Baker opening 400K with the chips that he just acquired. Well, Queen with ace-jack offsuit should be a standard jam at this point.
Yeah, it's trickier when there's an open in front of you, obviously, but when you're that short in chips, there really aren't very many moves, and you can't wait for a hand that's better than ace-jack when you're five-handed.
Yeah,
That's just a monster.
this is a tricky spot. You can't be opening this light when the big blind is short, just because he might be jamming a lot wider, but you have to be ready for the 3-bet jam, and when he does, you'd rather have a hand better than Queen 9 offsuit, of course.
Yeah, and that's, we were just talking about Peter opening with the 7-4, and obviously I love that because it's my favorite hand, but just in general, when you have a hand similar to that, it's a lot easier to get away from it. When you have Queen 9, now you got something to think about,
right?
And you could be dominated if you do make the call. It's a closer spot, so it's a tougher one to navigate.
Right. And that's kind of the tough thing with doing it with things like King Jack or Queen Jack, Queen 10. They're all really close to each other, but a lot of time you're just dominated by ace high or a pocket pair. Here, though, Baker with his own pocket pair, pocket sixes.
300.
Going 300,000.
Yeah, min click this time, under the gun.
I like it. You never have to go big. You can risk as little as possible for stealing the blinds. Only problem here, though, is Peter has enough chips to defend a lot of his range.
Yeah.
Now you're just not sure where you're...
As we see right now, with 8-5 offsuit, Peter will see a flop.
And just like that, flops
outflop
best.
the sixes.
And you know Peter's not going to fold when he hits a pair like this, so... Baker just checking back comfortably. No scary cards on this flop or turn for Baker, so... Peter's going to bet, try to go for value from ace highs, king highs, worst pocket pairs, and gets exactly that, 400,000. King, though, on the river will slow down some action. I would like a blocker bet from Peter. He can get called by ace highs or worst pocket pairs a lot of time.
Very good.
Just takes it, though. And
And the rich get richer.
Yeah.
Peter now
happy with the showdown
almost
value.
7 million in chips.
Yeah, and the only reason I said I would like a blocker bet there is because if you get bet into on the river when you're out of position, so say Peter checks and then Baker decides to bet at it, you're not going to love it, and a lot of time you might just have to call off, so I'd rather set my own sizing on the river. If you get raised, then he shouldn't really be raising anything except something like ace-king. So a lot of time you do get value just by betting small and getting called by ace-high or a worse pair. And when you're getting raised, you can easily fold. Whereas if he were to check and then a big bet happened from Baker, then a lot of time you will just have to fold or get put to the test and call off. Here, Ho Queen though on the button with 2 mil, ace-9 suited. I think this is a jam, but has enough playability to just raise here. So
Yeah, Walken now at 2 million in chips does have a little bit of room to just raise.
yeah, and
may get some value out of this.
Baker calling here with Queen 4 suited. Now we get to see some post-flop playability from Ho Queen, which is nice. Been really patient so far. Unfortunately, though,
Wow.
Baker flopping
Big
Queen high flush draw. Yeah.
Big flop for Baker. Walken's still ahead here with the ace high, but you can see by the equity, Baker picking up a lot there. Backdoor straight draw and front door flush draw for him.
Yeah.
And the flush just gets there right out of the gate.
And that's unfortunate because now Ho Queen has open-ended straight. I was gonna say I really like the check from Ho Queen as the board doesn't favor him and his cards at all, and it definitely favors the big blind's range. Here he's just gonna realize his equity because
Makes the straight. Oh no.
Unfortunate. I think Baker's just gonna bet and Ho Queen's just gonna have to call here. It will be sick though if Baker goes over the pot. Just goes for value, 500k, and it's just so unfortunate. Ho Queen's gonna have to probably call off here. It's tough to fold here. A jam would be the worst option because you're only folding out bluffs and getting called by flushes. If you jam, you're really only targeting 2 pairs to get value from, and even then it's a really thin range of hands to get value from. Whereas when you jam and you get called off, you're always losing.
Oh, he does jam.
Unfortunate, because now he will be eliminated as...
Ooh. And just well played by Baker there.
Wow.
Yeah, very underrepresented hand.
Yeah.
Patiently waiting for the river and...
Checking the flush and lets Walken make the mistake there and hang himself.
my big blind, guys. I've been fucking.
Yeah, that was very well played because you never want to bet the bluffs out of there and you're out of position. So when you check, he should always be betting with his bluffs.
But what a great run there for Walken. Comes into the final table as the shortest stack and ladders up to 5th place, taking home 9,000 today. What a great result for him. Just kind of ran into it there. Short-handed play. You make a straight. What are you going to do? Unfortunately, runs into the flush there, and now Baker with a ton of chips after that one.
Yeah, now these guys
he takes the lead, and now down to 4 players.
Four-handed, and just like that, Tran outlasting a lot of the field, navigating his short stack, and that's the thing. You just have to be disciplined.
Well, yeah, bro. If he didn't see bet though, if he see bet, I'd come over the top.
Down to 4 players. Blinds up to 200k, it looks like.
Here, Peter with the pocket 4s.
Did he get all squirrely Dan, bro?
Raising 550k, and this is really to push out the small blind and try to get the big blind stack committed. He's fine flipping against a lot of hands. If he's dominated by a better pocket pair, it is what it is. And here, jam, and should be a call off. You're basically willing to flip for all these ace high, and Tran with the kings, and
Tran wakes up with a monster at the right time.
and yeah, he's been playing so patiently. But you can't hate the call off because he's gonna have a lot of ace jack or better a lot of the
You
time.
burned
Just
it, or no?
No, not yet.
fortunate. But obviously, Peter, okay to lose this one, still sitting on a very healthy stack, and here, clubs are no good, looking for the 4 and the 4 only.
Diamonds for a sweat. Nothing against you.
Oh, and 5 now.
Yeah, picks up a gut shot.
Extra outs.
But a safe run out for the Kings, and Tran will now double up through Peter.
Now we have
Pause the clock and
a
discuss
battle.
ICM.
And after that big pot,
You want to? You want to?
Stacks
You want to?
relatively close together. Everybody's going to take a look at the ICM numbers now.
That's not for you. So
We can take a look at it, yeah.
yeah. Okay. Never mind.
You
That
got
is
nothing
for
to
you.
lose, just take a look at it. You got nothing to lose.
So if you're out there watching, we appreciate you. They are going to pause the tournament clock here for a moment while the floor man takes a look at ICM numbers for these
Somebody
players.
else bus, you can pause it again though, right?
No more?
In honor of you, I decorated my new place in black and gold. Just because of you, dude. True story, right, Pink?
Take a look at some
I'm just watching the Alex show right now, brother.
But true
old
story, we
highlights
decorated
here
in black
while we
and
take
gold.
a look at the,
just out of in honor of Phil.
We did.
Yeah,
the numbers.
Black and gold, but I did not do you.
Correct.
A6-4, some trouble for Ambrose.
How much is in the pot?
Phil, would you say you're a love to win guy or a hate to lose guy?
Overbets wow.
Wow.
No, stop it. You're
Huge here.
a graceful loser. What are you talking about?
Alex was trying to convince us that you don't tilt earlier today. And me and Freddie looked at him like,
You guys just don't understand him. That's your problem. You guys are like one-dimensional
Five.
thinkers.
Less than you guys now there for Ambrose.
You guys are just one-dimensional
all of
thinkers.
it.
Tilt by
Makes
one,
the call.
and then I go back into super tight mode, and you.
And here we go.
You just give me money every day. They just give me money every time I play poker. It's scary to me. Like,
What do you do, once or twice?
Oh, up to you, man.
I always go twice.
Twice sounds good.
on your backs.
Yeah, first the show.
On your backs.
Alex about a 2-1 favorite.
Fair fight.
Oh, man, Alex.
6-4.
Nice hand, nice
16K in the pot.
All right, sure. He gave up. I don't know what the fuck you guys are doing. We're good.
Twice or once?
Twice, go.
We're going twice.
Ambrose reaching for the backpack.
Smart.
Texas. I always knew Houston was my place. I always knew if I just sit there and play with Phil, I'm going to win 100,000.
Full house.
River 4. Freddie
Yeah,
called
that's
that
for the
one.
first one.
And this is the 6.
Yeah, I'm drunk.
No, it's
No, you got an 8 or an 8
not even
or a
slim.
7.
It's completely over.
3.
Or a 3.
And that's for the
Yeah,
second one.
instead
Thank
it's
you.
a
I
two.
missed the 3. Too many outs.
Nice dealer tip and a nice pot for Alex.
Called himself a rom.
It's a good game here, guys. You guys play every week?
7 deuce game is on.
The Chicago guys are battling. Battling.
We'll just play by ourselves.
I wouldn't fold this hand for a family member, dude.
Don, you can play with us too.
Okay.
And he can too.
Don,
And Poker Mama, you can play too. And you can play too. What are you doing? What when you had your
8-6-5.
just talking shit. You had your hand in the cookie jar. You made it 26.
Fair and straight draw for Alex.
You got caught. It feels bad, right? It does feel bad.
Is Casey invited?
Oh yeah. 1,000. Did I not invite you?
No, it says Casey invited.
Oh, I said yeah. Poker Mama, you can play.
Another 5 on the turn. Trips for
I
Alex,
invited
setting
Don
the
first.
trap.
For the record.
We have a lot of. It's going to be fun. We have a lot of. Women playing with us the next couple days.
Really?
Yes.
Someone's going to be singing a tune after this hand.
Yeah, my girlfriend Ashley's playing.
River 9.
Ashley Frank, Poker Face Ash.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. No, that is. I don't know her personally, but I know. I've heard the name.
What the hell?
There's a lot of history in this hand, guys. Watch this.
What are you representing?
Oh, and Maria's going to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember 9/11?
I never heard of it.
Oh my God! Well, you're about to see.
Oh no. Pink.
Oh no.
Yeah.
The Chicago guys are making the stream, man. I'm supposed to be the clever one.
What the fuck is this?
Or the poker brat one.
Oh, you can do it.
Alex
Pink,
somehow
you got any
get
information you
away.
give me? Any live tells on them?
Well, first tell me
Can't
what your hand is, and I
imagine.
can help you.
I have a very disguised hand. He bet the flop. It's a good spot to make me look bad. It's actually why I'm considering calling. It's not that my hand is strong or anything.
Freddie, can I help him?
Clock.
Makes the call. Freddie gets
Yes,
paid off.
that's what I figured it was.
So we'll make a little
I
bit
figured it was
extra
7
as
deuce
well.
also. I was like, that's literally the only hand he could have is 7 deuce.
Have a full house.
Nice hand.
I called it right at the beginning of the hand. I said the Chicago guys are playing
We're not
against
even
each
playing
other.
yet.
What a bingo ass server.
RJ with 2 kings.
Don and I are happy.
He and Don could
Don and I are
collide.
happy. We just found out Electric is not going to take our business over.
Here comes Don, which RJ is going to love.
Don, you got a big one on you, huh?
Yeah, real big. I want the net game continue.
Here we go.
Kind of setting the trap for the Nick game, guys.
Oh my
Instead, he just runs into the goods.
Oh, no.
You guys going once or twice?
Whatever.
Sir, you pick.
Yeah, I don't care. Either way you want.
I don't want to pick. Someone else pick.
Twice.
Go.
Twice.
Full boards.
Do you guys have the same suit? I can't see.
First one wins it, yeah. No, he's got...
Run it twice. First board counts for the Nick game. RJ still with the button in
All
front
right,
of
one
him.
jack on the flop,
Where's
please.
that barbecue?
It's coming, man. They had to wait in line. They go and wait in line for like an hour at the place.
Give a couple extra $100 and get to the front of the line.
I'm going to pay him handsomely.
450.
Oh, that's a nice word. I'm going to pay him handsomely. Old school.
2 jacks on the flop.
He's an old
deal.
soul.
Let's keep the Nick game going. Just give me the bottom at least. Okay.
King, queen, deuce, but all spades.
That's a cool sweat.
Let's do a 10 of spades.
That's a fun sweat.
Door open.
That's sick.
For Pig Don.
10!
That shit's sick.
Oh, the 10 of spades does roll off on the
That shit's
turn.
sick.
I just want the Nick game to keep going, man.
Flush and 4 to the royal.
Don't pay.
River card is a
he's got a
3.
set.
RJ will
really
keep
unfortunate.
that Nick game
Yeah,
button,
unfortunate
and now
there.
just looks for half the pot.
Let him win the bottom.
Despite getting the
let him
chips
win the bottom.
in.
This is honestly fucked up.
Yeah, we chop it up.
Okay, chop it up.
King deuce deuce.
Don't even run it out. They're not shot.
King deuce deuce.
Oh, God.
Oh,
no.
not like this.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Okay, now we
please
need
no,
the
with
other
the
king or
jack
10.
on the flop.
Oh, he wasted the king on the first.
No,
Okay,
I
10.
didn't have a king.
10
would be nice.
Remember, yeah, we did see a king
Okay,
on the
just a king.
top board.
It's just over.
I have no idea.
Oil money doesn't
Pretty
lose,
sick.
buddy. You guys don't know that by now?
Nice
To be
hand,
fair,
man.
Don
Oh,
did not
that
run
is
well
a
the last
brutal
time.
one for RJ.
Because his brother's here, bro.
Scoops.
Maybe you here, Alex.
Good luck, charm.
I
Brother
got
from
cousin
another mother,
LA,
my
too.
man.
Both runouts with kings versus jacks.
Dude, I think the waitress
Wow,
is
this
trying to
guy.
take advantage.
All he needed was some fucking.
I think she's...
All he needed was some Texas
Frank,
barbecue.
have you had an empty drink once? She's trying to take advantage of us. I know she is.
Can they
What,
edit that out?
1,000?
Yeah, he's
Oh,
got.
God, you're terrible at poker.
I'll
I'd
take
call.
one of those too, please. Thank you.
What size would you prefer?
What size what?
Well, we see a bunch of chips in the middle of the table. It looks like they have made a deal. Four-way ICM chop. Posting it in the chat here, but
Yeah, that's pretty sick for Tran to have gone from like second or third chip stack, second or third lowest chip stack to looking to get fourth, I believe it was, for close to 20,000. So I believe Tran 19,000.
yeah.
Then I assume Andy 21,000.
Yeah,
third, and then-
Baker takes 24-1, Peter 23-2, Andy 19-9, and Tran 19-9.
Wow, so that last hand flipped Peter from first to second. Still pretty close though.
Yeah, very close. Well, thank you everybody for watching tonight. This is Dan Fouts coming to you live from Houston, Texas at Champions Club with Andrew Voden. Great job tonight, Andrew.
Yeah, that was a pleasure. Thanks, everyone.
Come back tomorrow for the return of Bobby Fillet with HV and the Rook, 7 p.m. Central Time. 1-2 No Limit Hold'em stream tomorrow, Monday night.
Counting the stacks, stacking the bags.